Since we're dedicating an entire series to the Gunner mercenary faction in Fallout 4, we must take some time to talk a little bit about MacCready. We first meet MacCready inside the VIP section of Good Neighbor's The Third Rail. He's being interrogated by two gunners named Winlock and Barnes.
Can't say I'm surprised to find you in a dump like this, MacCready.
I was wondering how long it would take your bloodhounds to track me down, Winlock. It's been almost 3 months. Don't tell me you're getting rusty. Should we take this outside?
It ain't like that. I'm just here to deliver a message.
In case you forgot, I left the Gunners for good.
Yeah, I heard. But you're still taking jobs in the Commonwealth. That isn't going to work for us.
I don't take orders from you. Not anymore. So why don't you take your girlfriend and walk out of here while you still can?
What? Winlock, tell me we don't have to listen to this shit.
Listen up, MacCready. The only reason we haven't filled your body full of bullets is that we don't want a war with Good Neighbor. See, we respect other people's boundaries. We know how to play the game. It's something you never learned.
Glad to have disappointed you.
You can play the tough guy all you want. But if we hear you're still operating inside Gunner territory, all bets are off. You got that?
You finished?
Yeah. We're finished. Come on, Barnes.
Look, lady, if you're preaching about the atom or looking for a friend, you've got the wrong guy. If you need a hired gun, then maybe we can talk.
Maybe. Why don't you tell me who those guys were first?
A couple of morons looking to climb the ladder of success by stepping on everyone else on the way up. Shouldn't be surprised, though. That's how it goes when you run with the Gunners.
From what I just heard, sounds like you're out of business.
Are you kidding me? I'm not about to let a couple of Gunner rejects stand between me and a solid payday.
I'm interested. If you think you've got what it takes.
You're joking, right? I've been doing this since I was a kid. I know my way around.
Never heard of the Gunners. Who are they?
One of the biggest gangs in the Commonwealth. Got a rep for being crazy. You know, so tightly wound you think they were a cult or something? Stuck with them for a while because the money was good, but it never fit in. That's why I made a clean break and started flying solo.
You're acting like I'm supposed to know what you're talking about.
Maybe it's better that you don't. I don't want the stink of Winlock and Barnes rubbing off on me and scaring away my business.
Sounds like you can handle yourself, but I worry about those guys throwing a wrench in the works.
If you're worried about Winlock and Barnes, don't be. They couldn't kill a squirrel with a rocket launcher.
Extra baggage like that can get you killed.
Look, I need the money, and I'm not about to let Winlock and Barnes scare a client away. You have nothing to worry about. Those two are weaker than a housefly, and about half as smart. Now what about you? How do I know I won't end up with a bullet in my back?
Are you always this suspicious?
Hey, you approached me. And frankly, I'm taking a huge risk being out here in the Commonwealth in the first place. So I'm not about to leave anything to chance.
Hold on. What kind of risk are you talking about?
I already told you way too much. Need to learn to keep my big mouth shut. Which brings me back to my original question. Can I trust you?
Well, if my caps aren't good enough to answer that question, I can take them somewhere else.
Alright, alright. You need to get your panties in a bunch. Look, I'm tired of playing 20 questions. So I'll cut you a deal right now. Tell you what, price is 250 caps. Up front and non-negotiable.
Everything's negotiable. Would you take 200?
You drive a hard bargain. But you just bought yourself an extra gun. Alright, boss. Let's get out of here.
A small price to pay to get one of the best sharpshooters in the game as a companion. MacCready is hesitant to give out details about his private life. At first glance, he appears to be a shallow individual, concerned with caps and obsessing over how great a shot he is. But as we travel with MacCready, we learn a little bit more about his backstory. The bulk of his story is told through his personal companion quest called The Long Road Ahead. This quest is optional, but you have to complete it to get his companion perk, which is one of the best companion perks out there for snipers and people who use VATS. It increases your accuracy with headshots. This companion quest has two major parts. MacCready talks with you about the first part after traveling with him for a short while.
Nice to be on the open road. Good Neighbor was starting to wear out its welcome.
Sounds like you had a rough time of it back there.
Rough? That's putting it mildly. Good Neighbor was a good place to look for work, but a crappy place to hang your hat. Let's put it this way. Can't get much rest when you're sleeping with one eye open. Still, it was the best place for me to set up shop. Diamond City's goons would have run me out of town, and wandering the Commonwealth alone isn't the brightest plan when you're hard up for caps.
Setting up shop? What do you mean?
I needed somewhere to hang out so that people could find me when they required my services. The folks in Good Neighbor tended to not ask too many questions, which suited my needs. So, I made a deal with Hancock and started waiting for the caps to roll in.
Caps are pretty important.
You're goddamn right they are. Right now, I need every cap I can get.
I'm not paying you a single cap more than we agreed.
I'm not trying to gouge you for more caps. I don't usually go around sharing stuff like this, but you've been pretty straight with me, so I'm gonna be straight with you. It's those two those two idiots you saw me talking to at the third rail. Winlock and Barnes. They've been hounding me for months, and it's been driving off clients. No one wants to touch me once they learn I used to run with the Gunners. And I figured if I could get enough caps together, maybe I could buy them out.
How many caps do you need?
I'm not sure. Honestly, that's not even what concerns me the most. I'm wondering how I'm going to pull it off.
I wouldn't trust those guys, even if you paid them off.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Why not just kill them and be done with it?
If it was that simple, I would have done it already. Winlock and Barnes have a small army of gunners with them at all times. They might decide to just keep the caps and put a bullet in my head for good measure. If I set up a place to meet them, I'm sure they'd roll in with everyone they've got. Unless, maybe you and I could pay them a little visit and put an end to them before they realize what's going on. Before you get that look on your face, let me just say that I wouldn't even be asking if I didn't trust you.
I'm not sure. Let me think about it.
Yeah, I figured this might throw you for a loop. Truth is, I haven't been able to rely on anyone since I was a kid. Everyone I've met has either tried to rip me off or plant a knife in my back. But you're different. We see eye to eye on almost everything. And I have a funny feeling you actually care about what happens to me. That's why I asked for your help. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna make this easy on you. If you feel like helping me with this, head over to the Pike Interchange and we'll take them down. If you don't, I'm not going to hold it against you. Either way, thanks for hearing me out. It's nice to know that you care.
So we need to get to the Pike Interchange to kill Winlock and Barnes. the Pike Interchange is out in the middle of nowhere. You may not have any map markers next to it if you haven't done very many side quests in Fallout 4, but you find it west of Vault 81 across the water.
Alright, Winlock and Barnes should be here. Let's take them down.
The Pike Interchange is an overpass that looms high in the sky above you. It's important to sneak when you get close, because many of the gunners on top of the overpass can find you and can start sniping at you before you even get within firing range. As you get closer to the quest marker, we find gunners patrolling a small area.
Get it on!
After clearing this guard station, we can turn southwest. Here we find another gunner at another guard station.
What?
Once dead, we can examine the small shack nearby. At the top of this shack is an elevator that leads you up to the overpass. Now, this elevator will land you right in the middle of the gunner camp, which is fine if you're a heavy gun using, commando wielding, guns blazing sort of character, but not so great if you depend upon stealth. For those who depend upon stealth, instead of taking this elevator, head north from this point where you can find another elevator that brings you to the northern entrance over the overpass. From here, you can sneak on in. But we're gonna go the guns blazing route. As soon as we reach the overpass level, we get attacked by gunners.
That's how we do things around here.
There is one gunner that'll hop on a suit of power armor. It's wise to kill him before he does, otherwise you won't be able to loot the power armor frame. Winlock stands on the southern portion of this overpass, next to the gunner who gets into his power armor.
Trash! No waste of time. Okay, that looked like it hurt.
Barnes is a little ways north of here next to some Nuka-Cola machines and a small shack. Once done, you can loot the place, and boy is there a lot to loot. Not only do these gunners carry very valuable weapons like plasma weapons, but you find a lot of explosives and ammunition. In the eastern shack next to the weapons workbench, we find 2 bottle cap mines and 2 wooden crates filled with chems. Continuing along south, we can loot the gunner who got into the suit of power armor, and next to him's the corpse of Winlock. He doesn't carry anything interesting on him, despite his importance. At the very southern portion of the overpass, we find a shack, and inside the shack is the end of dungeon trunk. On the toilet seat next to it is a copy of Grognak the Barbarian, Fatherless Cur. Critical hits with unarmed and melee attacks permanently do 5% more damage. Just outside this shack is a power armor station for all of you power armor users, and then we head north to continue looting. Like Winlock, Barnes does not have any interesting loot on his corpse despite his importance. Continuing along to the furthest portion of this gunner-controlled overpass, we find a terminal, but sadly this terminal only activates or deactivates the nearby turret. It doesn't have any interesting lore. But we can walk away from this with an understanding that gunners really like to secure and occupy overpasses. They see overpasses as pieces of strategic importance. We'll learn more about this when we explore the Bradburden overpass in Nuka World, which we will tackle in an upcoming video. This terminal is at a junk fence, which ends gunner territory here on the overpass, and just beyond here is where we find that northern elevator, which is useful for those of you wanting to sneak. Once done, we can talk to MacCready to hear his thoughts and complete this portion of the quest.
This should send a message to the gunners to stay off my back.
I'm sure they heard you loud and clear.
Definitely.
Seems to me like you've made them angrier at you.
Trust me, I know them well.
You aren't afraid the gunners will retaliate?
The way these lunatics act, you'd think they would. But I know better.
I don't know. They just lost 2 of their best men.
There's nothing to worry about. With the gunners, it's always about the bottom line. And they just lost this entire way station, and that cost them big. Besides, they have no way of knowing I was involved. Anyway, I guess I owe you a favor now. After all, you hired me, but I'm the one that dragged you out here.
A favor, huh? Can I decide later?
Well, I don't like these things hanging over my head.
You don't owe me. You clearly needed the help.
Sure, but I like everything to remain nice and even. And you're one up on me. Tell you what, I'm going to give you back the caps you paid me in Good Neighbor. I'll still stick with you because that was part of the original deal, but now we're even. There you go. And I guess we're done here. Lead on, boss.
This raises some interesting issues. On the one hand, killing Winlock and Barnes will get the gunners off of his back, because this event will teach the gunners that he is not to be trifled with. And yet on the other hand, he doesn't have to worry about repercussions because they have no idea he did it. How could this get the gunners off of his back if the gunners didn't know that he did it? We'll have to tackle this contradiction in our video on the gunners. Finishing the conversation updates our quest log telling us to continue traveling with MacCready. And so we shall. After traveling with him for quite some time, he finally approaches the sole survivor to talk about the biggest problem in his life.
Hey, I never got a chance to properly thank you for helping me take out Winlock and Barnes.
We're friends. No thanks necessary.
Well, I wanted to say it anyway.
Just protecting my investment.
Call it whatever you want.
So we're done with the gunners.
Definitely. With those 2 clowns taking a dirt nap, I'm pretty sure the gunners heard my message loud and clear. Couldn't have done it without your help. You stuck your neck out for me. I don't forget things like that.
You can curse all you want. I'm not your mother.
Very funny.
Why do you keep doing that?
Yeah, I figured you'd ask me about this sooner or later. It's not about you, it's about a promise I made. When I left the Capital Wasteland, I didn't just leave Little Lamplight behind. I left my family behind. Had a beautiful wife named Lucy, and a son we named Duncan. He's the one I made my promise to. I promised to clean up my act and to be a better person. I guess that sounds pretty stupid coming from a guy who shoots people for a living.
I don't know what to say.
Sure you do. You want to tell me how cruel it was to leave them behind.
How could you leave them behind like that?
I didn't have much of a choice. My son, he's sick. I don't know what's wrong with him. One day he's playing out in the fields behind our farm. The next he took a fever and these blue boils popped up all over his body. Last I saw, he was almost too weak to walk. I didn't dare ask him to come with me. Honestly, I don't know how much longer he's going to last.
Are you asking me for help again?
I suppose that I am.
Maybe there's nothing you can do, but go home and let it run its course.
No, I can't accept that. There's no way I'd ever give up on him. All I know is that it's some sort of disease and it's eating him away from the inside.
Maybe you should find a doctor.
Every doctor I've talked to is worthless. They never even heard of the disease. I don't need them. I need someone like you. Look, you've already done so much for me. I feel horrible asking for more. But if you're willing to risk it, I might have a way we could save him.
How risky are we talking?
I'm not going to lie to you. It's no walk in the park. If it was easy, I would have already done it myself. Look, I really need your help on this one. Duncan needs you too.
Of course I'll help. Count me in.
I was hoping you'd say that. A few months before we met, I bumped into a guy named Sinclair who claimed his buddy caught some kind of disease. I thought he was wasting my time until he said his partner broke out in blue boils. They dug up information about a cure at a place called MedTech Research. They even managed to grab the building's lockdown security codes. Unfortunately, Sinclair's buddy died before they were able to break into the facility. I mean, there's no way that's a coincidence, right? MedTech has to be the place.
Can you trust this Sinclair guy?
To be honest, I don't know him from Adam. But he brought up the blue boils and the sickness his partner suffered from. There's no way that's a coincidence. Or a trap. Would make any sense. If Sinclair says MedTech Research is the place, that's where we need to go. Otherwise, I've got nothing else.
Don't give up hope. If there's a cure, we'll find it.
Thanks, partner. I'll put MedTech Research on your map. When you're ready, just take us out there. I have all the codes we need to get through their security. What you're doing... No one's ever cared that much about me before, even if it takes me the rest of my life. I'll repay this debt to you. I swear it.
MacCready has a son, and this son is covered in blue boils. We'll talk more about the nature of MacCready's family life, who his wife Lucy might have been, where his homestead might lie, in an upcoming character profile video dedicated to MacCready. But now we must focus on the task at hand, and that's to head to the MedTech Research Facility to get the magical drug that can cure his son. I actually did a walkthrough of this entire facility in another video, which you can watch here. So let's focus on just the highlights related to this quest. We find the MedTech Research Facility in the Malden area on the outskirts of Boston.
MedTech Research. I hope Sinclair's information pays off. Let's head inside and grab that cure.
The lobby is completely ruined and dark.
Alright, let's find that executive terminal. Sinclair said that's the only way we can override the facility's lockdown.
Now the elevators here are broken, so the only way to find the executive terminal is to navigate through a series of stairs and ramps formed by broken floors to reach the top floor of this building.
Check the terminal on the desk over there. Sinclair's passcode better work, or we're screwed.
The passcode that Sinclair gave us works, so we can use the terminal to shut down the containment.
Thank God that worked. Let's find our way down to the sublevel. That's where MedTech should be storing the cure.
We can pass through some decontamination arches to find an elevator that takes us to the sublevel.
Ugh, it smells horrible. I think we're the first ones down here in a long time. The sooner we find that cure, the sooner we can get the heck out of here.
We find the cure lying on an operating table in the middle of a room filled with human bones. The cure is called Prevent, a developmental drug that MedTech Research was working on the day the bombs dropped. Handing this over to MacCready, we learn we're not quite done yet.
Holy crap, we actually did it! We just gave Duncan a fighting chance to live. I don't know how I'll ever be able to pay you back for this. I owe you big time.
You still worried about balancing the books?
Always.
I don't know, you're already running quite a tab.
I know I am.
All I care about is curing your son.
I know you do.
This is a friendship, not a business contract.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just used to people taking rather than giving. Maybe one day I'll realize that you're different. Anyway, the last step ahead of us is getting the cure to Daisy in Good Neighbor. With her caravan contacts, she's the only one I trust to get this to Duncan on time. This is the last favor I'm going to ask. I promise. Let's go.
Daisy? Well, back to Good Neighbor we go. Now, I found that it was hard for me to turn this quest into Daisy because MacCready kept sandboxing. He kept walking around, and if he's not really close to Daisy, Daisy doesn't recognize his presence, and then she won't let you proceed with the quest. So have him stand really close to Daisy. Once she sees him, she'll address him.
Daisy.
MacCready, I haven't seen you in a while. You haven't been avoiding me, have you?
No, how could I stay away from someone as cute as you, Daisy?
Well, you're a lousy liar. But I'll just play stupid and pretend I don't know that. So, what do you need?
I got it, Daisy. I found the cure to Duncan's disease.
Oh my god, that's wonderful news. How'd you do it? Last time you tried, the ferals almost chewed you to bits.
I didn't do it alone. My friend here got me through medtech. Now, all I need to do is get the cure into Duncan's hands. Can you help me?
Of course, MacCready. You've saved my behind more than once. It's the least I can do. It's okay. You can trust me. I swear I'll get the cure to Duncan.
Circling back around, what did MacCready do to help you out?
Running a business in a town like Good Neighbor is a challenge. Let's just say I've had my share of unfriendly customers, and MacCready's been there to help me handle the situation.
If this gets lost, you'll have to live with the guilt.
Don't worry, it's not going to get lost.
If MacCready trusts you, then that's good enough for me.
I appreciate that. He's actually not so bad. Once you get to know him. I'll get the sample on the first caravan leaving the Commonwealth. The driver owes me a few favors, and he's reliable. It will arrive at your homestead in no time, MacCready.
Thanks. You're a doll.
Hey, do me a favor. Take care of MacCready for me. He's one of the good ones.
And with that, we finally complete MacCready's companion quest, The Long Road Ahead. Completion does not maximize affinity with MacCready. We need to travel with him a bit longer before we finally get his perk. And this leaves a lot of questions unanswered. Where did he meet his wife Lucy? Did his son ever get the cure? Does MacCready ever go back to the Capital Wasteland to visit his homestead and to see his child? Some of these questions have answers and others do not. We will tackle all of them in my upcoming character profile video of MacCready. And if that topic interests you, be sure to subscribe and click that little notification bell to become notified when I publish that video. We still have a lot to go through to get a better understanding of the Gunners as a mercenary faction. How much of what we know of them is in the actual lore and how much is just rumor or headcanon? Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, we will go through everything. And did you know I have a new t-shirt shop? That's right, I've partnered with Teespring to produce a wide range of cool t-shirts for your enjoyment. I have Oxhorn t-shirts and Fallout 4 inspired t-shirts, complete with some of your favorite quotes and factions from the game. So if you're interested, you can find a link to my Teespring t-shirt shop in the description below. What are your thoughts on this companion quest for MacCready? It's one of the longer ones and one of my favorite, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Patreon subscribers gain access to a private channel on my Discord server, as well as a bunch of other cool Oxhorn perks. But more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just so glad that you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning with a brand new video.